All right, it's preparing to stream our webinar. Someone's in California. Great. Where in California? Tell us in the chat. All right, we're officially live on YouTube. So that's the good thing about this event. You don't have to catch everything the first time. You can always chime back in later and get it later. There we go. YouTube link. All right, I'm going to share my screen. So yes, you have found yourself in the correct place. You are at an online event to help scientists understand the sky from above and below, because we're going to be learning about NASA's Globe Observer Clouds project. It is 1 o'clock Pacific time. We're partnering with a library in California, specifically the county of San Luis Obispo. So if you're a patron of that library, we have a poll question for you in just a sec. But we have people from, I think, all over the country who are tuning in today. I know we got a few Californians. Let's look at the chat. We have someone from the Central Coast of California. Very, very cool. And this event is being recorded. So whatever you put in the chat, we may read it out and, tell the world. So that's just something to keep in mind, but we want there to be a discussion in the chat. We want to be responsive to anything that you're posing to us, so don't be afraid to use that chat box. All right, so we're going to kick things off with some polls, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can put your answers in the comments on YouTube. So first and foremost, we want to know, have you ever participated in the citizen science project before? And there are no wrong answers here. You could have done a billion citizen science projects. You could have done just one. You could have done none. If you haven't done one before, we're going to give you everything you need to get started today. Oh my gosh, it's about a 50-50 split. About half of you have done it and half of you hadn't. So I'm going to give you a few more seconds to vote. 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to end the poll. Share those results. So the majority of you have not done citizen science before, which is great. I love introducing people to citizen science for the first time. So we'll stop sharing those results. And we'll go to our next poll question. And we want to know, are you a patron of our sponsoring library today? So I'm going to go ahead and share that poll and let you all vote. Oh my gosh, almost 100% of you are patrons. We have one person who isn't a patron. Okay. Well, I know a lot of the events are online, right, Judy? So people could still tune in even if they weren't an official patron.
That's correct.
Yeah, so don't worry if you're not, for that one person who's not a patron who's with us today, you can still tune in. All right, so I'm going to end the poll here and share my results. So it looks like about 86% of you in the room with us today are patrons of the library. One of you isn't, but that is a-okay. That's good for us to know. All right, and our last question, we want to know a little bit more about you. So are you an aspiring citizen scientist, a student, a parent of an aspiring citizen scientist, a teacher, an educator, a troop leader, etc.? Are you a librarian or part of a library staff? Are you a researcher or a project leader? Are you just a bored person on the internet? Or are you none of these? All answers are okay. Select all of them that apply to you, or just select the one that resonates the most with you. Answer whatever you feel comfortable with. All right, we're getting those votes in. It looks like we have 2 librarians and library staff members on the line. We have 1 researcher. We got a student here with us. We have multiple aspiring citizen scientists. And we have some people who don't resonate with any of these. So I guess it's good to know you're not bored people on the internet. You're entertained people on the internet. All right, we'll give you a few more seconds to vote. Get those votes in. 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to end the poll. I'm going to share those results. So it looks like quite a few of you are aspiring citizen scientists. We have a student here with us. We have 2 librarians, our library staff members. We have 1 researcher, and we have a few folks who are none of these. So I'm going to stop sharing the results there. All right. So at this point, I'm going to pass the mic back to my friends over at the library to talk a little bit about what's new, what's coming up, and all the things that you can learn more about at slolibrary.org. Judy, do I need to promote anybody to panelist?
Is Jackie available? Jackie, are you out there?
And feel free to chime in the chat, Jackie, if you're here. If not, we can just kind of go through the slides that she
Sure.
prepared
Sure.
for us. Oh, Jackie is here.
Oh,
Are
good.
you, is that Margaret in the chat?
I guess she's using Margaret's Zoom.
Oh, okay. All right, Margaret, we're going to promote you to a panel. Oh, Jackie, we'll promote you to panelist. There we go. All right. Can you hear us? I think you might be on mute, Margaret and or Jackie.
I got it.
All right.
Okay, there I am.
Hello.
Hi. Sorry about that.
No worries. Thanks for being here.
You bet. So at the County of San Luis Obispo Public Library System, we have currently 7 branches that are open for grab-and-go services. However, one of our new programs we have available is called Book Connection. This is where we will do the shopping for the books for you. So there is a form to fill out at our website, slowlibrary.org, and it is called Book Connection. And you choose the form for kids, teens, or adults. Fill out that. How many books do you want? What kind of books are you looking for? Chapter books, easy books, mysteries, nonfiction, and then more details about what you're looking for. And submit that. It'll go to one of our several in-house librarians. They will put everything together for you and have it bagged up and ready for you to go when you arrive to the library. The next product we have is virtual escape rooms, also located at slowlibrary.org. And then you want to scroll to the bottom and go to our calendar, our events calendar at the bottom of our main page. You'll see a big yellow line across the calendar that says virtual escape rooms. Click on that, click on more information. I know it sounds like a lot of clicks, but you get there. And we have inputted in the event details 3 links that you copy and paste for 3 different types of escape rooms. So they're just like the ones you would walk through, except you do it virtually and answer the questions in order to get to the next step and hopefully to escape. One is called the Haunted Gym. Another one is called the Supernatural TV Show. And the last one is called Save Me. So hopefully you have fun with that.
And can anyone do that? Do you have to be a patron of the library?
No, you do not. Just log on to, or just not even log on, just click on to our website first and then go down to our event calendar, and anybody can do that.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to give it a try, and I'll tag you all on Twitter as I go through my experience.
That would be awesome if you left us messages on Twitter or on our YouTube page. Wonderful, thank you. The last thing, Library of Things. Okay, Library of Things. Let me get that one up real quick. I know there's a multitude of things available in there. I'm sorry, I'm not the host of that one.
It's all good. It looks really cool. I see a sewing machine on the screen.
Slowlibrary.org again, and go down to, where is it, Judy?
Actually, if you go to the newsletter, and just scroll down a little bit.
Library news. Scroll down.
And the LOT is there. We have a virtual reality headset that people can check out. Sewing machine, digital art pen and tablet, a lot of neat things.
The last thing we had put in there just before we went closed up back in March was the induction cooktops, which we thought was really interesting.
Oh yeah.
And we love to see how that works. So that is a new service that we just recently opened back up for people to check out with their library cards.
Cool. Good stuff. Well, thank you so much. Do you have any other things that people should keep in mind about new things going on at the library?
Oh, we've got lots and lots of things that are coming up, lots of pilot programs. If you are in our area and come to the libraries and use our libraries, we are also doing lots of grab and go craft and kit bags as they last. We have a live story time going on every Wednesdays at 10:30. And also we have a Spanish story time. So lots of fun stuff going on.
That is awesome. Well, thank you for joining to talk to us about that. And one of the things that you have going on at the library is citizen science. So that's why Judy recruited me to chat with you all today. I know a lot of you haven't done citizen science before, so I'm just going to give you a quick definition. So at SciStarter, we view citizen science as a collaboration between scientists and those of us who are curious, concerned, and motivated to make a difference. So what does that mean? It means that citizen science is basically any way that you can volunteer to move science forward. This can be through collecting data, analyzing data, and it spans all sorts of different scientific disciplines, everything from astronomy to health to the environment. Basically, citizen science is as diverse as science itself. And it's been around for a really long time. People have been doing citizen science for hundreds of years. The term is new, though. And it's really a global phenomenon that is just sweeping country after country, community after community. And I'm so excited for you all to be a part of it. Our job at SciStarter, we're a global community of citizen scientists. We connect you to the real science that you can do. So project leaders, be they from NASA or a university or just somewhere else, they add their projects, events, and tools to SciStarter for you to discover and for you to volunteer with. So there are these thousands of opportunities that are searchable on SciStarter, and typically you discover that opportunity on SciStarter and then you go somewhere else to do it. So you would get the link to download an app from NASA. You would get the link to a forum to submit data about the water quality in your area. And that can be a little overwhelming for folks sometimes, all those things to search for, which is why I think it's so important that libraries like Judy's are working with SciStarter to narrow things down a little bit. So there's a page on SciStarter that corresponds to today's project. It's at scistarter.org/NASA. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat, and you all are welcome to follow along, because the best way to learn about citizen science is to do citizen science. And I think this page is helpful in that it makes the whole world of citizen science a little bit smaller. There are 4 featured projects on this page. And on this page, it's kind of one-stop shopping. You can create your SciStarter account, access instructions for these 4 NASA projects, and access Introduction to Citizen Science tutorial. So go to scistarter.org/NASA to get started. And later in the presentation, I'll also tell you about special lists that Judy has made for you. But this is a good place to get started and make your account. And this is the tutorial I mentioned. So today's featured project is Globe Observer Clouds. So the Globe Observer program is run by NASA, and basically they are asking for your help with 4 different protocols. They want, and with the clouds investigation in particular, they're trying to understand the sky from above and below. And I figured and these are all 4 of them. So I'll just give you a quick overview of it. So Globe Observer Clouds, it's where you're taking pictures and identifying clouds and sending in those observations. Globe Observer Mosquito Habitat Mapper, you're finding, mapping, and decommissioning mosquito habitats. Globe Observer Land Cover, you're observing, well, what covers the land. That's the name, right? It's land cover. So this could be trees, this could be asphalt, whatever you see around you, you're sending those observations in and documenting it with the app. And then Globe Observer Trees, where you use your smartphone to measure tree height. They lead you through the whole process. And these 4 protocols, they're 4 separate projects, but they're all housed in the same Globe Observer program, and they're all part of the same app. And you can find a way to download that app at scistarter.org/NASA. It's available on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store, and it's completely free. And I do ask, when you sign up, if you enter the code SciStarter, all lowercase SciStarter in the referral code area when you sign up, we're able to give you credit for the number and frequency of your observations in your SciStarter dashboard if you already have a SciStarter account. it's nice for you because you can keep track of your impact and you can say, wow, I've volunteered so much. This is amazing. I know some of you are students. If you need service time, it's a good way to kind of back yourself up and say, yes, I actually did volunteer a ton of time. If you're an adult like me, I do it so I can look back at the end of the year and kind of pat myself on the back about everything I've accomplished across all these different projects. But scistarter.org/NASA is where you can get more instructions about all 4 protocols. We have this video. I thought it was a really good fit. She, from Kristen Weaver, one of the leaders of Globe Observer Clouds. She made this for our Girl Scouts program, but I figured she wouldn't mind if I showed it to you today. So I'm going to make sure that I'm sharing my sound because I always forget to do that. Okay, there we go. And we're going to go ahead and play it. Sound.
Kristen Weaver, and I'm an outreach specialist with Science Systems and Applications, Inc., working out of NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. My job is to take all of the cool science and engineering that NASA does and help make it easier to understand for the general public, as well as find ways for people just like you to contribute to NASA's science work through citizen science. I would also like to say that I was a Girl Scout when I was a kid, so I'm really excited to be involved in this partnership in particular. One of the projects I work on is called Globe Observer Clouds. NASA has many satellites orbiting the Earth that look at clouds from above, but we need your help to make matching observations from below. By getting the perspective from both sides, we can have a more complete picture of what's happening with clouds in the atmosphere. It's important to know not just how much of the sky is covered by clouds, but also which types of clouds are present, because different clouds have different effects on Earth's weather and climate, and what we call the Earth's energy budget. Satellites see clouds differently than human observers, and NASA scientists could never be in all the places they would like to be to collect data from the ground, which is why we need your help making observations. Here's what we need you to do. Download the free app on your cell phone or other mobile device and set up an account. Check the satellite flyover times for your location, and if you can, go outside to make an observation within 15 minutes of that time. You can make observations anytime, but the most useful are near a satellite overpass. Then, just follow the directions to look at cloud cover, cloud types, and conditions of the sky like sky color and haziness. We'll also ask you about some things that can affect how satellites see the clouds, like whether or not there is snow or ice on the ground. The final step is to take pictures of the sky in all directions, and then send us your data. Thank you for helping NASA understand our home planet.
All right. Well, that makes me want to get started. So what does your sky look like? I know quite a few of you are dialing in from California, so you'll be able to answer those questions. But I'm actually going to take you, I said earlier, the best way to learn citizen science is to actually do it. I'm going to take you all outside and show you a little bit of the sky where I am in Florida. So, and this is actually a picture from the before times, back when I used to do live events before I had to follow social distancing public health guidelines. But at the bottom of my feet down there in that picture is a Globe Observer observation station that I set up for the day. And I basically did Globe Observer nonstop and gave NASA a continuous stream of data from that entire day. So that was a blast. It was from like 9 o'clock Eastern in the morning all the way to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's something you all could do once you have live events again. You could set up your own observation station and give a whole day's worth of observations. But, no matter how old you are or where you are, if you have a smartphone, you can send observations to Globe Observer. And the Clouds protocol, I think, is definitely my favorite, just because it's so kind of soothing to look up at the sky and think about what clouds I'm seeing. It's very meditative in its own way. And you can check those satellite flyover times and contribute every day if you want to. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen there. If you all have any questions so far, feel free to go ahead and put those in the chat. But I'm going to unmerge my computer sound so you don't hear a weird echo. One second, I'm fixing the audio on my phone. In the meantime, put any questions on the chat while we get our live demo set up. All right, you all should be able to hear me now. Everything coming in clear, Judy?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna take you all outside. Let me turn off my camera for just a sec. And while I go out there, I could tell you a little bit more about how Globe Observer works with SciStarter. So we at SciStarter, Globe Observer is a SciStarter affiliate, meaning that they've opted to go the extra mile to track the number and frequency of their contributions. It doesn't work quite perfectly yet. They're in the midst of some updates. So the only way that tracks is if you use that SciStarter referral code on sign up. But basically, Globe Observer has committed to work with SciStarter on special programs like what we do with the Girl Scouts, what we do with libraries, to help reach more citizen scientists like yourself and have a bigger impact. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. So I'm starting my broadcast. Okay. So let's see. Actually, I'm going to stop broadcasting for just a second and take you straight to the page where we want to go. Start broadcast. All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Great. All right. I'm in the app. I already signed in. I signed up with my Gmail and that SciStarter referral code. And if you all get lost at any point in the presentation, that's totally okay. You can get detailed instructions about how to do this at scistarter.org/NASA. So don't worry about trying to catch everything the first time. But the protocol we're doing is Globe Observer Clouds. So Globe Observer Clouds is an easy to use tool for recording clouds and sky conditions as you go about your day. Users can visualize the observations you submit to Globe, as well as those submitted by other app users around the world by clicking here, so you can actually explore the data. You can also compare your observation to one taken by a NASA satellite if your observation is within 15 minutes of a satellite overpass. Enabling the app's notifications feature informs you of satellite flyovers. So, oops, I have a spam risk call. Oops. Okay, I think I'm back. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second because I'm going to go on do not disturb mode so I don't mess up your time during this. So let's minimize all those obligations. While I do that, Judy, do you have any questions so far? Anything that's piqued your interest or anything like that? And it's okay if you don't have any questions quite yet. Maybe we can ask the audience. Well, I get a common question I get about Globe Observer is people will give me all these really detailed questions. They'll be like, oh my gosh, well, tell me all the science of all the NASA things that have ever happened. And I'll say, well, the beauty of citizen science is I actually don't have to know all of that to have a meaningful impact. You know, you can still follow the protocols and submit your data without having to know every single detail about how the science works. And that's the empowering thing about it, right? That's why it's a collaboration with scientists. Because you are turning your curiosity into impact by partnering with them and sending in your data that they'll then analyze. And every project's different. Some projects will have you conduct some analysis, but they'll always train you first. Like you don't have to worry about coming in unprepared with citizen science. All right, so we're back to Globe. Okay, so we're going to next. To make a cloud observation, you will capture the date, time, and location, identify whether the sky is clear, cloudy, or obscured, estimate what % of the sky is covered. At each cloud level, high, middle, low, identify cloud contrail types, % of sky covered, and classify visual opacity. Record surface conditions and photograph the sky. All right, let's do this. Once you complete your observation, send it to the Globe system so others can see and analyze the data. Note, all photo submissions are reviewed prior to display on the Globe site. I remember once I kept on sending them observations of my feet on accident, and they actually pinged me about it. So they do look at what you send in. Observations are best made in a location where you have an open view of the sky, but you can use the app anywhere and anytime. You can find these details in these extended training slides. They're also available in the help section. There are also handy tools available to help you with cloud cover estimation and identifying cloud type. Cool, cool, cool. All right, let's do a new cloud observation. I don't think we're near a satellite flyover. So I am in Florida, as I told you all. All right, what does my sky look like? It is super obscured. I've never seen it so obscured. And why is it obscured? Let's see. Definitely fog. It's been very, very foggy. Is it snowing? Nope. Is there standing water? Yes. Is it muddy? Yes. The ground is not dry. There are leaves on the trees, and it is not currently raining. Take pictures of the sky. So they didn't ask me to identify any clouds because you actually can't really see them where I am right now in Florida. It's just the sky has never really been so obscured. So I'm going to take some pictures. All right. Rotate your device. It's being a little difficult because I actually have it set so I can't rotate it. So we're going to manually add some pictures. Oops. I went ahead too soon. So I'm not going to send my data. I'm going to redo this observation later. But I'm going to stop screen broadcasting. Go back to the Zoom app. So now you all can see me. I'm going to flip my camera around so I can show you what I mean about my obscured sky. That's what it looks like right now. Very obscured. You can't really tell the clouds apart. But there you have it.
So what altitude do you think that is? Is that high, medium, low?
I would say, so the way I usually identify altitude when I'm using the Globe app is they'll tell you what types of clouds are at different altitudes. So to my untrained eye, it helps me to understand like, oh, like I spy like a cumulonimbus cloud. I can see on the Globe app, that's typically at, I think it's medium altitude. And then I'm able to know based on the type of cloud I see what altitude it's at. All right, okay. I'm gonna take you all back inside and we'll kind of proceed into our Q&A. Or actually, we could try trees. What do you say? We have some extra time. Do you want to give trees a try, Judy?
Sure.
All right. Cool, cool, cool. I'll start my video. This is the tree we're gonna do. It's very Florida. It is a palm tree. So I'm gonna share my screen. And we'll go back to the Globe app. All right, and we're going to go back to home. I'm not going to send that observation in quite yet. We're going to go to trees. So welcome to the Globe Observer Trees app. This tool assists citizen scientists, globe observers, to catalog tree data with an emphasis on measuring tree height. The data you will be collecting with this app are shared with the public, government, and scientific research institutions and will contribute to a better understanding of tree height across our home planet. Recording tree height can help track how trees are changing over time and can help estimate the number of trees that make up an area. Serve as a step to help scientists and researchers understand how trees help us balance Earth's carbon budget. NASA has many satellites, airborne missions, and instruments that measure the height of features on Earth's surface, including trees. Citizen science tree height observations provide useful data for scientists to compare to what the satellites, airborne missions, and instruments are observing. Record the height of trees in as many places as you would like, and scientists can use that information to improve measurement accuracy. So, as a globe observer, you can enter important information about the trees in your area. This tool guides you through the steps to estimate a tree's height. Step 1, find a spot about 7 to 15 meters, 25 to 50 feet away from the tree that allows you to clearly see the top and the bottom of the tree. So I need to go back a little bit. Aim the app's viewfinder at the tree's base and the tree's top. Walk to the base of the tree, counting your steps, and enter the number of steps in the app. Measure your location at the tree. The tree height will be calculated for you. You can also optionally enter the circumference of the tree. After completing these measurements, make other NASA Globe Observer observations, especially land cover, to provide additional site information for scientists. So that's the beauty of this, right, everybody? We could conceivably do all 4 protocols in one place to provide as much data as possible.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I'm going to go with English. I am more comfortable with feet and inches, so there we go. All right, so details about me. I am 5'8". Let's go back. Your average stride length, I would say, yeah, that's about right. I can get more information, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it. You can do a tutorial. Let's go ahead and do the tutorial. Before using the Trees app, we ask that you take a few minutes to learn how to measure and catalog trees. Things to consider when selecting a tree. The tree should be over 15 feet tall. When possible, take measurements of isolated trees. My trees are in a group. That's okay. I am taking let's do the tallest one. Okay, I know which one that is. Try to find one that is straight and you will clearly and safely see the top. You will need to find a location where you can clearly see the base and top of the tree. Done that, we're good there. Hold the phone at eye level. You will measure the angle to the base of the tree. Height calculations are very sensitive to the angles measured. When measuring the tree's base and top, keep the phone at the same height and tilt it to capture the angles. This might make the screen difficult to see or feel awkward, but do your best to closely align the phone with the top and bottom of the tree. A stick or tripod can help with keeping the phone at the same height. You will then be prompted to photograph your tree. Touch anywhere to capture your image. And then you walk to the tree while counting your steps. Using a natural stride, walk to the base of the tree, counting your steps. The app will prompt you to enter that number. We estimated your stride length. Okay, so they have my stride length. Improve this estimate by counting your steps across a known distance and dividing the distance by number of steps. So as you can see, this is science, right? We're getting our measurements. We're trying to be precise as possible. We're using the tools we have, our smartphone and our brains, to send in our observations. And you can also test your accuracy, which is awesome. You can check your location, all good things to do, best practices. And when you do everything right, you can estimate the tree's height. And you can also measure the circumference. You can do that if you have a tape measure at home. That's very helpful. All right. Let's get to it. New trees observation. Please don't break the law. That's reasonable. I will not. The surface conditions are still the same. All right. I have selected my tree. Web observer wants to access the camera. Bring your device to eye level. Align the dashed line with the base of the tree. So that's about there. I need to go back a little bit. Okay. There we go. Tap anywhere when aligned. Do you like this alignment? Yes. All right, staying where you are, photograph the tree. All right, and now I'm gonna start walking to the tree and counting my steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Ooh, there's a slight puddle. 17, 18, I'm walking in it for science. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, 26 steps. Remain standing at the base of the tree. That's my position. I do not have a tape measure, so I will not be doing the circumference. And let's see. Calculated tree height is
5 inches.
That is not correct. I'm going to report this to Globe. This seems wrong. Maybe I must have put my steps in wrong. Or maybe my stride length was too long. Okay, I'm not going to send that one in yet either. I'll do some more investigations on that. I think my strides were a tad too long. So that's another reason why it's important to be accurate and to take the time to do your measurements properly. And that's why it's important to learn by doing. You can try it a few times before you feel comfortable sending your data in. And you can use those Globe Observer extra resources to send the most accurate observations possible. All right, I'm going to take you all back inside. Any questions so far, Judy, or anything from anyone in the chat?
Yeah, let's see. When did NASA begin getting the public involved with these collections?
Yeah, Globe Observer has been around for a long time, but this app is from the smartphone era. So the Globe Observer program itself is way bigger than just the app. So it's been around for, more than a decade, and they've been working with SciStarter for quite a few years as well.
And also, does this information get reported immediately?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
You don't have to submit it if you're not comfortable with it. For example, I definitely messed up my strides. So I was not submitting that tree's observation because that tree was not 5 inches tall. I'm going to switch audio to phone, so bear with me 1 second. All right, I'm back on the computer.
All right.
Let me go back to my slides. Q&A. I love this picture, Judy. Where are you?
Kelso Dunes.
Awesome. That looks like a great place to do some citizen science.
What kind of cloud?
Yeah, or you could do land cover. You could examine everything that covers the land.
Which is basically dunes.
There you go. There you go.
So what would you tell someone who wants to participate in Globe Observer but might be nervous about getting started?
Just to do it. I mean, you all saw me make a pretty big mistake on camera, right? But I didn't have to send that observation in.
Right.
And that's the thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. And because they're crowdsourcing this, even if you send in something that isn't like perfectly accurate, or perhaps you identify a cloud wrong, they have enough observations from enough different people that you won't hurt the research by sending in something that isn't optimal. You'll get better and better the more you do different citizen science projects. Like one example, and this is separate from Globe Observer, there's the Stall Catchers Project, which is a partnership with Cornell University and the Human Computation Institute. And the Stall Catchers Project is a video game that you play to conduct analysis on videos of mouse brains to help speed up the search for a cure to Alzheimer's disease. And it sounds difficult, right? But it gets way easier the more you do it. So with the Stall Catchers game, I just had to keep on practicing and practicing, and I got way better at my analysis. And now I do Alzheimer's research all the time as a citizen scientist. So if you're nervous about getting started, don't be afraid to make a few mistakes. The project leaders and the NASA scientists and whoever you're working with, they have thought this through, and they have a system in place to deal with less than perfect observations.
So what do clouds tell us about climate change? Is any of this research going toward that?
Yeah, it's the Globe Observer. I'm actually going to take you to the NASA page right now. It's actually a particularly great one for climate change because climate impacts can happen in a way that's surprising. I think Globe Observer Clouds is a great example of this. They had a webinar about dust storms, and dust storms and like extreme things like that are a result of a changing climate, or they can be linked to it is a better way to say it. They asked citizen scientists around this time last year to dive in and send as many observations as dust storms as possible. So like the number one, and this is true with citizen science in general, the number one thing about addressing climate change is having a shared understanding of hyperlocal impacts. I mean, climate change will affect us differently depending on the street you're on. You could be living on one street in Miami that has sunny day flooding and another street that is perfectly fine. And by doing citizen science and submitting your data, you're able to help scientists understand the hyperlocal changes that are happening on the ground, like land cover. By sending in your observations of what surrounds you, this could be of a sunny day flood on your street, for example. Scientists are able to understand the hyperlocal impacts of the environment. So climate change is going to make this data all the more vital because we need more data to understand the hyperlocal changes of a changing climate.
What the heck is a sunny day flood?
Yeah, I forget you all aren't Floridians. Sometimes it floods when it's not raining now in Florida
Oh,
and in other places. Your street just floods. And that's because of a changing climate, more volatile patterns of weather and water. And that's why I love doing citizen science, because I feel very powerless in the face of changes I see. And I think citizen science empowers me to understand what's going on.
do you have like common names of the cloud formation? When I first started doing this, I got kind of overwhelmed by all the different names of the clouds. And I do
Yeah.
remember like cirrus being mare's hairs, and cirrocumulus would be mackerel.
Well, the great thing about the Globe Observer app, and you didn't really get to see that because my sky was, so obscured today,
Right.
but you don't have to know all the names to be able to participate, because in the app, they provide you with the picture. So you could match the picture you see on the app with what you see up above you in the sky. So
Okay.
you don't have to, you don't have to be a cloud scientist or even like know what the clouds are to submit valuable data to this app.
And do you know why some clouds are purple?
I actually don't know. And that's part of the beauty of citizen science. I don't have to know all those details to be able to make a real difference. But that's a really curious question. I'm actually going to write that down and research it on my own, just because now I'm curious. I don't know why some clouds are purple. Great, great, great. Any other questions for me, Judy?
Can you explain the saying, red sky at morning, sailor's warning, red sky at night, sailor's delight?
Let's look that up. Let's do some research. The sky is such a beautiful thing. It's so interesting.
It's fun, actually. I love taking pictures of clouds.
This is why it's one of my favorite projects. It's just peaceful. Okay, so I'm looking at the Library of Congress's website, and the question is the old adage, red sky at night, sailor's delight, red sky in morning, sailor's warning true, or is it just an old wives' tale? And the answer is, within limits, there's truth to this saying. So let's see. In order to understand this saying and how it can predict the weather, we must understand more about the weather and the colors in the sky. Usually, weather moves from west to east. In the mid-latitudes, the prevailing winds are westerlies. This means storms generally move in from the west. The colors we see in the sky are due to rays of sunlight being split into colors of the spectrum as they pass through the atmosphere and ricochet off the water vapor and particles in the atmosphere. Okay, let's keep scanning. A red sky suggests an atmosphere loaded with dust and moisture particles. We see red because the red wavelengths, the longest color in the color spectrum, are breaking through the atmosphere. The shorter wavelengths, such as blue, are scattered and broken up. So, red sky at night, sailor's delight. When we see a red sky at night, this means that the setting sun is sending its light through a high concentration of dust particles. This usually indicates high pressure and stable air coming in from the west. Basically, good weather will follow. Red sky in morning, sailor's warning. A red sunrise can mean that a high pressure system, good weather, has already passed, thus indicating that a storm system, low pressure, may be moving into the east. A morning sky that is a deep fiery red can indicate that there's a high water content in the atmosphere, so rain could be on its way. That is so interesting.
Yes.
So yeah, everyone, the Library of Congress website it was my source for that just now. It's from their Everyday Mysteries page. But so yeah, that saying does indeed have some truth to it, and it's all because of the science of colors and the sky and how they interact.
Right. Do you want to play Name Those Clouds?
Let's do it! Name those clouds! All right, Judy, what is this cloud? What do you think?
Alto cumulus.
Okay, do you know the answer? I actually don't know the answer.
I don't know.
I need my Globe Observer app. Everyone, put in the chat what you think these clouds are. I'm going to get my handy dandy Globe Observer cloud sheet. And that's actually something I bring to events with me. I have a printout of all the different cloud types. Because some people, I usually bring a tablet with me. because not everyone can see at the same level, and some people may have difficulty like seeing tiny text on an app. So I bring a big printout with me, so people can see as well as possible all the different clouds. Okay, I got my cloud identification chart from Globe Observer. And let's see. And it's loading the PDF. There we go. Okay, and it tells me, I'm gonna actually put this link in the chat so you all can access it.
All right.
Let me message it to myself. It's a really helpful little cloud identification sheet. It saved me at many a public event. Okay, and let me just open Zoom back up on my phone so I can drop it in the chat easily for you all. And this cloud identification sheet may indeed help you all with the Name That Cloud game show that we have found ourselves on. Okay, so gonna stop my video there, and I'm just gonna drop in the chat. Name that cloud. There we go. All right, I'll stop the PowerPoint for just a second, stop the share, so I can go right to this page for you. So as we talked about earlier, the way I figure out if a cloud is high, mid, or low is just typically by figuring out what type of cloud it is. So if it's short-lived, like something that you might see from a plane, that might be a high-level cloud. Mid-level clouds look kind of like this. Like the fog I was seeing today, that was definitely low level. And you can see, aren't these so pretty? The alto cumulus, it's like you would see like in a storybook. And there's more info here about like sky color, cloud type, cloud cover, cloud opacity, all the different things you would see in the app. It's all on this sheet for you. And if you're an educator or you're doing this with a group and facilitating it, feel free to print out this sheet. It's super helpful. And of course, please do not look directly into the sun. Believe it or not, I have been at public events where people will just stare up at the sun and be like, ah. So want to be careful with that. All right, so let's go back to Name That Cloud. I'm looking at this. I think that is, based on my handy dandy chart right here, I think that's an alto cumulus. What do you think, Judy?
Yep, that's what I said.
All right. And then over here, we got this pretty wispy little cloud. That kind of looks like this one. What do you think?
Cirrus.
Yeah, what? I think so.
Yes.
All right, we have someone in the chat who agrees with us. Good to know. Oh, these are so pretty. This is your background. That's what you're
Yes.
sitting in front of right now.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I would say that's a cumulus. What do you think?
Yes, I would say maybe even a stratocumulus because it's kind of drawn out.
Yeah. All right. And what does everyone think these clouds are? I'll let the people in the chat decide. This is your time now to name that cloud.
Come on, you can do it.
Don't be scared. Look at your cloud ID chart for help. This might be, might be a stratocumulus. What do you think, Judy?
I don't know.
You know what? That's what I would say if I was using the app and trying to identify it. Oh, what a beautiful sunset. What does everybody think this cloud is? I'll give you all a second to consult your chart and look at this picture.
It looks like several different kinds, actually.
Yeah, it looks like a mix of some of the high and mid-level, maybe even a low level. It looks like we got a little bit of fog, perhaps, and we got some spreading ones up here. Someone said some altostratus. I would concur with that. And let's consult altostratus looks like that. It's a mid-level cloud. And remember, clouds are categorized by height and shape. So stratus clouds look like a sheet or a blanket. This is definitely blanket-like right here. And cumulus clouds look like cotton or cauliflower. So stratocumulus clouds look like a lumpy blanket. All right, and this is our last one for Name That Cloud. What do we think, people? This is very interesting looking. Chime in the chat, consult your cloud ID chart, and put your answers in. Judy, I'll let you kind of take it home. What do you think this cloud is?
Oh, I have no idea. That's why I put it up.
Oh, we have a guest in the chat. We have another cirrus cloud, and that is right there. I see these little like bulby things, and I think that's a really good. I think Margaret, no, might have been Jackie who guessed that on Margaret's account. Jackie, I think you are correct.
It was pretty low in the sky though, and I thought Cirrus is pretty high up there.
It may be higher than it appears, because we're like, that's the thing. That's how I identify it. It's based on the type of cloud. So if this is a cirrus cloud, then it is a high level cloud, even if it appears to be lower. Great. Well, this was so much fun doing citizen science with you all and learning with you. Someone said could have been exhaust from a jet. So that's why we have the comments thing on Globe Observer, because none of us are quite sure, right? So if we encountered this in the wild, so to speak, we would put in the comments like, look, I did my best to identify it. I consulted my cloud ID chart, but I'm just not quite sure. And because they do look at all of it, they have like commented on the fact like, hey, Caroline, please stop sending us pictures of your feet. They do look at it. If you add comments and say, I think this could either be exhaust from a jet or a high level cloud, they'll review it and then give you their answer. So don't be afraid to use that comments tool for sure. All right. Well, to close things out, there's a whole world of citizen science for you all to discover. And the Field Guide to Citizen Science is a great tool for that. And Globe Observer is profiled in the Field Guide. This is SciStarter's book. And it's actually at your local library. And for those of you that aren't local, I bet you can find it on your library's e-media services. It's a widely available book, and we urge you to use your library to get access to it. And remember, you can go to that scistarter.org/NASA page to get more instructions about all the different globe protocols. I'm also going to add, all right, let me get the link in the chat. Judy mentioned that she had started a SciStarter list for you all. So I'm putting the link in the chat for you all right now. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. This is another way for you to access Globe Observer. You can go to Judy's list. So she selected these projects as being a particularly good fit for your community. So there's Globe Observer Clouds, the Great Sunflower Project, I See Change, which is a weather and climate project, Globe at Night. If you love the night sky, it's a great way to study light pollution, Nature's Notebook, Marine Debris Tracker, and of course, iNaturalist, which allows you to go out and about and send in pictures of plants and animals. There's a tutorial on the bottom in English and in Spanish to introduce you to citizen science. And a little, if you don't have a SciStarter account yet, let me log out so I can show you. You can make one on this page as well. So if you go to Judy's list, which is scistarter.org/list/955, you can access projects that she has picked out just for you. And we actually are going to go a little bit more detail on this. Coming in 2021, citizen science programs. Judy, do you want to tell us a little bit more about this?
Well, these are some programs that I lined up. Haven't set them to a date and time. That's to be determined. But hopefully they will coincide with a virtual book conversation program that I'll be doing. So we'll be doing stuff on climate change, water issues, food production. And we also have the Honey Bus, which is a book that we're doing this year. We had to cancel it in 2020, but we're gonna try to do it again virtually in 2021. So I have the Sunflower Project as well. That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's dive into these projects a little bit. So Globe at Night, That's a project where you can go outside and study light pollution. It's actually not related to the Globe Observer projects, believe it or not. It's out of an observatory in Arizona. And they basically ask you to go outside at a certain time. They have these different campaigns that you can monitor to know what time to go. And then you match a constellation with star maps and you let them know which of those stars in the star maps you can see. And believe it or not, just with your own eyes and telling the Globe at Night folks what you see and following the instructions, you allow them to understand where the night sky is being obscured. And light pollution is a big deal. It has impact. It has ramifications for human health, for animal migration, for circadian rhythms, for your sleep. It matters. And I think the Globe at Night project is such an important one and one of my favorites. Judy, have you, is there a reason that you selected this one or anything about it that really corresponded with you?
Well, after the Christmas season is over, maybe we'll get the stars back, but right now the whole town's lit up.
So you definitely are experiencing some light pollution where you are.
And they want to put up street lights all over the place. We're basically a rural area, and it's so nice to go out and see the Milky Way, and it's going away.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of citizen science. You'll be able to, if everybody in your town, you could do the Adopt a Street program, for example. I worked with a library in Missouri that did this. They basically mapped their entire town with their library patrons with Globe at Night, and they were able to have a detailed snapshot about what was going on in their town with light pollution. And not all streetlights are bad. There are certain designs that you can implement that are better in terms of like not shooting light up and directing it down instead. So the Globe at Night project is just, even if you don't have like specific policy asks for like local leaders, it's a great project just to get a better shared understanding of what is going on with light pollution. I see change. Oh, this is such a good one. I do it all the time. In Florida, I record my sunny day floods if I happen upon them. But wherever you are, you can just tell the I See Change team what the impact of weather and climate is on you. If it's a nice day, you can take a picture and you can tell them that. If it's too hot, if it's unseasonably hot, for example, tell them that too. Judy, was there anything about this project that really corresponded with you?
Well, November's been very unusually cold this year. And then of course, over summer, we had over 100 degree days, over 30 of them, I think. I'm not positive of the number, but yeah, so it just seems like the weather is just becoming more extreme.
Definitely. And that's why I See Change exists. And they also really encourage you to give the human impact, like describe how it's changing your life, because that's the qualitative data that might not be captured by a satellite. And they're able to group that together and match it with quantitative data. So really important project. And it sounds like in your area, people could really hone in on temperature. Nature's Notebook is another project. It's about phenology, which is the study of seasons. You observe the life cycles of different plants and animals, and they're able to understand if seasons are occurring earlier or occurring later just by honing in on that data. And then let's see, we'll couple that with the Great Sunflower Project, where this one's really simple. And we actually have a coloring sheet at SciStarter that we made for it pretty recently. But it's a great one to do with kids, but you can do it as an adult as well. I know I have. And you pick a flowering plant. It doesn't, native or non-native, it doesn't matter. And you're able to count the number of pollinators, be they bees or butterflies or bats, whatever type of pollinator visits that plant. And if you don't see any, report that as well. That's the most important data point. The creators of this project is actually out of California. It's a California-based project. They really want to understand if pollinator populations are in trouble in certain areas.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Well, any closing messages for us, Judy, before we go?
No, I just want to thank everyone for participating, and happy holidays.
Yes, happy holiday, and thank you for everything you do and your whole team at the library. This was so much fun. I can't wait to see what you all accomplish. I'm going to put the list in the chat one more time so folks can discover the projects that you flagged for them. Remember, it's scistarter.org/list/955. Have a good night. Well, it's daytime for you.